Hi everyone, my name is John. I'm from Artisan Lab USA. I'm the CEO of the company and I'd like to talk about photogrammetry today. Photogrammetry has been around for many years, since a few years ago, starting from around early 2020 or even before 2020. We started hearing about photogrammetry or some scanners such as PIC, and there are a few other solutions in the market, including iCam from iMetric. And now we have a lot of different options. So before the photogrammetry, what we did for the full arch cases, or sometimes it's called all-on-X, all-on-4, all-on-6, or there are many different names to it, to make some kind of jig inside the patient's mouth. So that required multiple visits just to capture accurate information for all of these implant positions. We had to go through a lot of different things because it's not only the fitment of the full arch prosthesis, but also it could be many other things, including the implant itself. But photogrammetry reduced a lot of this workload because it's basically we screw on these small scan bodies and it takes only a few seconds to scan it. So it's very simple and adoption rate is a lot higher and it's easy to train anyone. So before, what we did was, there are a few ways we did it, but one is we take an impression, we send it to a lab, and the lab will make a jig. We will cut it and send it back to the doctor's office. And basically, it's a jig connecting multiple implant sites from the model. So there's a lot of back and forth, and also a lot of different small parts that you have to use and also learn how to use it. We went through a lot of failures, but now with technology, photogrammetry, we can reduce the amount of failures so that we can do more predictable work. So the normal scan was worse 10 years ago. I like to compare to driving a car, for example, in terms of speed. So 10 years ago, it felt like I was driving, I would say, 30 miles per hour at the fastest speed when I'm scanning or inside the patient's mouth. 5 years ago, I would say the speed went up to 60 or 50 miles per hour. But now, currently in 2026, a lot of different scanners such as Shining 3D, Invisalign, Align Tech, there are a lot of different options. But basically, all these scanners became so fast, especially Shining 3D. It feels like driving 90 or 100 miles per hour speed. And some of the scanners, especially Shining 3D, scans in any type of environment, such as bloody mouth, bone exposed, edentulous mouth. These are all the hard scans that we had to take. But now it's super easy. Compared to photogrammetry and non-photogrammetry scanner, the photogrammetry scanner will have high accuracy to the point we have repeatable result. The photogrammetry will have about 5 micron, 10 micron accuracy. When you put it on a model or inside a patient's mouth, it is a passive, very passive feeling, and also overall good result in a long run. We're talking about 4 years later. Is it holding well? Nothing's wiggling. Everything is good. Screws are tightened even after many years later. Versus non-photogrammetry option, from my testing, 35 micron. And from other people's testing, so that's the average number we're getting with non-photogrammetry scan. And we're talking about 35 is on a model, not a bloody mouth. Whole another topic, but non-photogrammetry scanner will have very hard time. But Shining 3D especially, it's a 2-in-1 scanner, photogrammetry and a regular scanner made into one scanner. Works very well in every situation. So the adoption rate is been going up steadily. So I would say 3 years ago, 2023 or 2022, the price of photogrammetry scanner was a lot higher compared to now. Now there are a lot of different options. You can buy a separate scanner for about $18,000 or a 2-in-1 photogrammetry and intraoral scanner, 2-in-1 scanner for about $21,000. We have to spend about $40,000, sometimes $50,000 just to have that separate photogrammetry scanner. And then on top of that, you still have to get a regular scanner. So in total, financially, it becomes like $60,000 or higher. That was one of the challenges because at the end of the day, it needs to make sense business-wise. Doctor's office and also the patient financially and also the lab side. I want to show some of the photogrammetry solutions that we are using in our lab. So about 3-4 years ago, we've been using one of this. So this is more on the traditional side, older generation photogrammetry. So this has to be held on top of the patient's head. It's a little bit heavier, well, 20 pounds versus the newer options such as this, 115 grams. Before we had to use 2 scanners, the photogrammetry scanner and the regular scanner together to do a full arch case. Now, this is a 2-in-1 scanner, and with this, the workflow became a lot simpler. It's physically easier to use because it's so small that you can hold it like a pen and easily move to scan with a button here. And you don't have to juggle with a lot of wires, USB-C wire. Basically, you can put this into a laptop and you can start scanning. This one here, more on the traditional side, we had to plug a wire into a power outlet, which takes more time to set up. And also, in general, this type of photogrammetry scanner, older generation, will take, I would say, 30 more minutes just to set up and clean up. But the newer versions that we're using, a lot simpler, and also the workflow is better so that you will, from the lab side, you will spend about 30 minutes less per arch because everything is aligned with automation and the company is constantly improving their software and updating to the point where it was already better than most of the software out there. And now there's a large gap between this solution and other solutions. I also want to show new scanner from Shining 3D. This one came out last year. This one looks almost identical to the previous scanner that came out in 2024. The color is different, and if you look at it closely, it's slightly smaller. So this one was 115 grams. This is about 105 grams, so about 10 grams lighter. This one, they just took out that photogrammetry function from the previous scanner and they made it lighter, and because without the photogrammetry function, to customers, potential customers who might not need the photogrammetry function because they're not doing any full arch cases. So I personally had to go through a lot of different machines, not only scanners, but milling machines, 3D printers, photogrammetry scanners. One of the reasons we became a supplier is because we didn't want other people to go through what we had to go through. Because a lot of times it's the salespeople who are pushing those products. After the purchase is done, a lot of times they will disappear. Next day they will become a completely different person. We are transparent, we are using what we're selling. We're selling it because we think it's the best solution out there. We got the chance to use a lot of different scanners in the market. You name it, we probably used it. So when you come to us, we'll have better solutions because we did all the testings for you already. Thank you for watching. I hope you found everything useful. Please don't forget to click like button and also follow us on social media. Looking forward to next time. Thank you.